What's going on, everyone? How's everyone doing? Today is March 2nd, 2020. Hope that everyone's having a beautiful day today. This past weekend, we had UFC Fight Night 169. It was an interesting fight card, to say the least. The fights were subpar. Obviously, the main event, the Joey Benavidez fight was not how we all predicted it to go or how we wanted it to go. Figueiredo did not make weight, and unfortunately was not offered an opportunity at the title. We have a lot to talk about tonight on this podcast, so if you guys can stick around, thank you for listening, and we'll be right back in just a hot sec. All right, what's up, everyone? We're back on the podcast, the Fisticuffs podcast. Here we are talking about and analyzing our fights at UFC 169. Hope everyone, again, is having a great day. This podcast is sponsored by GovX, govx.com. If you are a first responder, law enforcement, military, EMS, firefighter, go to govx.com. Log in, register, log in, submit your department ID, and get all the discounted rates on all your favorite stuff. Anything from Under Armour clothes, EOTech, Yetis, Vortex Optics, you name it, they got it. They got your favorite stuff, guys. So again, that's govx.com. If you're a first responder, military, law enforcement, firefighter, EMS, go check it out, guys. It is govx.com. Get all your discounted rates today. They got some pretty sweet deals on there. Everyone, go check it out. All right. You will not be upset. All right, guys. So getting into the podcast today, we are here to talk about UFC 169. Benavidez versus Figueiredo. So, again, guys, just a recap on that fight. So, basically, the problem was that Figueiredo came into that fight absolutely sucking the D. And what I mean by that is that he fucked up. He did fucked up. He missed weight, so therefore he was not eligible to win the title. So basically, that title fight, the featherweight title fight, was all Benavidez is basically title to lose. So going into that fight, okay, guys, biggest thing was. Oh, that wasn't pretty much the biggest thing. The biggest thing was the fact that Figueiredo came into that fight overweight, not eligible for the title shot. But again, a lot of that, what happened on that fight, was definitely something that we as viewers saw and kind of wondered what the featherweight division, in terms of what the future holds for it, especially with everything that happened. I definitely think that the vacant flyweight championship belt is up in the air right now. However, with that being said, that fight was very one-dimensional for the most part. I think Figueiredo came out looking for a fight. So did Benavidez. Benavidez, I think, was a lot more, I want to say, sloppy in a sense. I think he was very one-dimensional, doing what Benavidez normally does, but not to the way that he executes normally. So what for me was kind of weird, because I kind of thought, well, why is Benavidez acting the way he's acting? I don't know. I'm not sure. I thought he was very confident going to that fight. I know he prepared for that fight. Figueiredo just he's also someone that you don't really you don't mess with in that sense, because he's just a big boy. He's very strong. His striking is good. His Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is amazing. So, and he's coming off, I think he was coming off of a couple fight win streaks too. So, it's very unfortunate that Figueiredo was not able to make weight for that fight. It's very unfortunate, just because stylistically what he has to offer for the featherweight division how he is as a fighter. I think it's a very unfortunate situation that he was not able to make weight. But like I said, he came into this fight prepared. He was rocking and rolling. First round right off the bat. It was a solid fight. Going up into I think the second round it was, at least. I think it was the second round. It was just something that, for whatever reason, Joseph Benavidez just wasn't there. You know what I mean? I love Benny. He's an excellent fighter. I think that everything that went down was very unfortunate. I think the situation for Benny was that he was confident in that fight. He wanted to win. Unfortunately, it did not go his way. He got KO'd or TKO'd, and ended up losing that fight. So you're looking at, like I said before, Figueiredo came out in the first round. Both fighters came out. They were jumping, they were attacking, striking. Figueiredo, I think, definitely had a much more, I would say, much more, advantage. I feel like that he came out with strikes that were landing more, connecting more, his movement, changing angles. I think he was doing what he was supposed to do. Benavidez, again, was doing what normal Benny does, but unfortunately just his execution was not there to hit that night. So I think Figueiredo came in, striking, doing his thing. First round ended, it could have gone either way. I believe it was a 10-9 round for Figueiredo. And then you get, coming to the second round, you got almost the first 4 minutes of that round going, and then all of a sudden you see Benavidez kind of just getting more and more sloppy. So Figueiredo obviously did his thing. He noticed it, kept up his striking. Again, Figueiredo's no joke, man. He's no joke. His striking's excellent. I believe he's one of those world-class strikers for sure, especially in that featherweight division. And he came out strong, and then before the round was over, you're looking at, next thing you know, you're looking at TKO, with punches. Connects, Benny goes down, and Figueiredo does his thing, adding more punches, and finally, referee calls the fight stoppage of TKO. Man, it was tough, man. It was real tough. I feel bad for Benavidez. Like I said, I think Benavidez is one of my favorite fighters. I've had the pleasure of seeing a lot of his fights, and I don't know. I mean, he's getting up in there in age. I just think that the situation is very unfortunate. I believe that something like that was very, I want to say, upsetting, but I don't know. I feel like upsetting is not really the right word to use. It's just, you kind of just feel sorry for the guy, He was trained hard. He was coming in to this fight, obviously, with one thing on his mind, and that was to win the vacant title. And unfortunately, that's not the way it happened. And the fact that he got knocked out was another very unfortunate situation for him, because he obviously did not see something like that happening. He wanted to win. He wanted to be the next featherweight champion and regain his crown on top, with the gold on top. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Now, ideally, we're talking about what's next for Figueiredo and what's next for Benavidez. And the biggest thing here to talk about is that I honestly think that you run that fight again. You run it again. 100%. And the reason for that is because Benavidez had a lot to prove, but Figueiredo missing weight, I think now he has everything to prove. In his eyes, he's champion. Obviously, that's not the case, but in his eyes, he's the featherweight champion. Maybe rightfully so in a one-dimensional point of view, but to say that he's champion, unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, man. You have one job. Your job is to make weight. You didn't make weight. can't really call yourself a champion. You know what I mean? Especially for something like that. That's something that's huge. That you're competing for the featherweight title, man. Like, how do you not come in making weight? You know what I mean? It just doesn't make any sense, especially if you're fighting for the title here. So for me, I think it was, at least for me personally, I think I don't consider him champion. So with that being said, I definitely believe that these two guys should run it back again. Definitely run that fight back again. I think the fans will like it. I think it's exciting. But ideally, at the same time, the featherweight division has been really on a downward slope as of late, and that fight and the occurrence of what happened with Figueiredo missing weight, I think really, 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 really hurt that division badly, especially ever since Henry Cejudo had to vacate that title, becoming, I think, like the third or fourth two-time division champ. So the biggest thing here is, A, what happens with the featherweight division for the future. B, do you run it back together with the same guys? Or C, do you put Figueiredo in another contention spot for the title with a different fighter who might be the number one contender? Do you put Benavidez in a situation where you automatically do the rematch, run the fight back again? Do you have him fight the number 2, 3, 4 ranked featherweight, and then give him, if he wins that fight, give him another title shot? I don't know. But me personally, I think you run that fight back. Me personally, I think you run that fight back. I think that fight, definitely something not. And here's my thing too. Like I said, the featherweight division's really on a downward slope. That's not a fight that you make a main event out of. It's no disrespect to the featherweights out there, but it's not a fight that you're excited about. Unfortunately, no one was really too excited for that, especially for that fight night card. I would say a lot of people weren't that excited about it. For me, biggest thing, again, I think just the featherweight division is going to shit, man. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate, but I think that's just, the way that it is. So you run that fight back, see what happens, and hopefully Figueiredo makes weight. And if it's the same outcome, then it's the same outcome. You know what I mean? If Figueiredo ends up knocking out Benavidez again, then Figueiredo becomes champion. You know what I mean? And we'll see what happens from there. But I don't know. For right now, I just feel like we can't have this fight or have that fight, if there's a second one, become a main event fight for a fight night or for a pay-per-view. Honestly, in my opinion, I don't think it's ever happened. I don't think this honestly has ever happened before. But I think you start off, if you're pay-per-viewing it, I think you start off the first fight as a title fight, 100%. Again, unfortunately, the way that it is, with Conor McGregor kind of just going up and down in his divisions, I don't think he's interested in the featherweight division anymore. So I think there's just no spark there. There's no one to really care to look at or care to see who's in the featherweight division. So with that being said, you put that fight first card of a pay-per-view main event, first match, title fight. I don't think that's ever happened, so that alone could cause for excitement for a fight. But other than that, you're looking at something that's pretty much, kind of like blah, whatever. And that's just my personal opinion on it. I mean, I don't really care for the featherweight division all that much. Benavidez is getting old. He's probably close to retirement anyway, so I don't know. We'll see what happens, but that's just kind of my opinion on it. Overall, though, you're looking at that fight card, UFC 169. You're looking at all 4 TKOs in the main card, all knockouts, and then 1 submission by rear naked choke. So not bad in terms of that. In terms of excitement, if you're a fight fan looking for excitement, I think that's pretty good in that sense. I think as a fight fan, that's what you're pretty much hoping for, what you're looking for. So ideally, again, I think it's good that something like that occurred. But I mean, for the most part, it's really not that big of a deal. Fight card was kind of blah. The main event was whatever. Again, nothing. It was Benavidez' night to lose, pretty much, and that's exactly what happened. Figueiredo, you kind of saw what he was able to do, but again, it didn't matter. He missed weight, so who cares? But it is what it is. Nothing. No harm, no foul. Well, actually, no, that's not true. It definitely put the featherweight division on some type of ruckus. But anyways, what happens next? I think they should run it back. See what happens. See what the UFC talks about. See what Dana White does. But yeah, I think they should run it back. 100%. 100% they should run it back. Anyways, moving on. We have fights coming up March 7th. Real quick. So I was working the other night, and we were suffering through some local troubles. We had a little structure fire that occurred, which caused damage to people's homes, caused damage to a local business. They had just opened a deli a few months back. So, prayers out to everyone involved there. I was at the scene. It was tough to watch, man. So I just wanted to do a quick shout out to the families that lost their homes, to the deli owners. You guys are in my prayers. Sorry that this all happened. But we're a tight-knit group in that community. We'll come back. We'll come back stronger, and we'll definitely rebuild. But you guys are definitely in my prayers. So hopefully we all come back stronger from this. No, we will come back stronger from this. So I just wanted to do a quick shout on that before we moved on. So now we have March 7th. Okay, we have a middleweight bout between Israel Adesanya and Yoel Romero. Now that's a fight that a lot of people were stoked about. Yoel Romero, for an old guy, I think he's like 42, 45 or some shit like that. Man, that guy is a beast. He is a beast. He's a freak of nature. Bottom line, freak of nature. I think that fight's going to be a really solid fight. I think that fight is going to live up to the hype. And I know Israel Adesanya, he's going to bring it. He's an exciting fighter. He's stylistic. I think stylistically is going to give Yoel Romero some trouble, especially if Yoel Romero goes in, starts fighting like how he usually does, where he kind of just pushes the pace, moves forward, looks for the big shots, throws the overhand, things like that. I think if Israel Adesanya survives that, I think you're looking into fourth and fifth round. I think you're looking at a knockout by Adesanya, because I think Adesanya is an excellent counterpuncher. I think stylistically, if he survives into the championship rounds, that Yoel Romero is going to have big problems. Big problems. And that's just that's just me personally speaking. I think Yoel Romero is a beast. Like I said, I think he's going to come out hard first, second, third round. But like I said, if you put him into the championship rounds, I think Israel Adesanya is going to do damage. I know Yoel Romero has like 3 or 4 title shot opportunities. They all failed up into this one. So this is pretty much his last shot, man. So I definitely see him coming out hard and definitely trying to get himself to become the middleweight champion. Especially if this is his last shot, which I think this is going to be his last shot. So no matter what happens here, if he wins or loses, that's it. There's no more title shots for him. So ideally, That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. But we'll see. You never know. You can also see Yoel Romero just trying to take it easy and not be the proper dance partner for Israel, and just kind of do something the complete opposite and not rush in and pick his shots. And if that happens, Adesanya will be all fucking confused, because then you're going into, instead of a fight, you're going into a mind game. And I think Israel and Adesanya is going to be better at that than Yoel Romero thinks. I think Yoel Romero thinks that if he gets into the mind game, that Israel and Adesanya is just gonna bow down and basically get suckered into it, and Romero is gonna be able to knock him out. I think Izzy's a lot smarter than that, for sure. I think Izzy's definitely not a fool for a fighter, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. A fight that I'm 100% backed by, 100% in on, is the Zhang Weili Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight. That women's fight out of the strawweight division. Oh my god, guys! I'm telling you right now, if you guys watch this fight, you guys are gonna be in for a fucking surprise, man. You want to talk about a money fight? You want to talk a fight that is going to go down for one of the ages? This is that fight, man. I think this fight is the most exciting fight out of any fights on the fight card, even the main event fight. Me personally, that women's strawweight matchup is going to be absolutely insane, guys. Insane. And I'll tell you what, mark my words, this fight will go down as one of the greatest UFC women's matchup in history. This fight will be a Hall of Fame fight. I fucking guarantee it. That's how exciting this fight's going to be. Joanna Jędrzejczyk is going to come out. She's going to be fired up. She's been training really hard with the American Top Team. She's a fucking bloodthirsty woman, and she wants that gold, man. She wants that gold. And Zhang Weili she won the title. It's one of her title defenses. She's pumped. She's excited. She's facing top contender in Joanna. I think that she has something to prove. She wants to come out and prove something. She has not seen the championship rounds, so it's going to be very interesting to see if that fight does go into the championship rounds and how she holds up. But this fight, guys, I'm telling you right now, mark my words, this fight is going to be the most badass fight you'll ever see in women's UFC history. I promise you guys that. I promise. This fight is going to be huge. 100% it's going to be huge. The rest of the fight card, and not for nothing, you're talking about stylistically one of the best strikers in the UFC women's division. 100%. Zheli Wang and Joanna Jędrzejczyk, they are absolute beasts when it comes to the strike game. They are fucking amazing. I'm telling you right now, they're going to go at it. I guarantee you might see maybe one or two takedowns that fight, but I promise you that fight's going to be standing up. If not the whole if not all 5 rounds, until someone gets knocked out. I promise you that. That's how exciting this fight's going to be. Like I said, I'm more excited for this fight than the freaking main event, honestly. So, and that says a lot. So we got the other fights. We got Benio Durish, Jakar Close, Neil Magny, Ling Jingling. Sorry. Oh, man. Alex Olivia and Max Griffin. Neil Magny's coming back. Neil Magny's he's no joke, too. I think he's coming back with a vengeance as well. But for the most part, the only thing that really matters is the co-main event and the main event here. That's like the big matchup. Zhang Weili and Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Israel Adesanya and Yoel Romero. Those are the fights to watch. The women's strawweight division, I think that's going to be the fight to watch, man. I'm telling you right now, that co-main event. I think that co-main event is going to steal the show. You'll see. I know my shit when it comes to these fights, guys. I'm telling you right now. You'll see. You will see. The co-main event is going to steal the show, I promise. I promise you that. And then hopefully the main event between Izzy and Yoel matches what the co-main event does. But I don't know. We'll see. If Yoel Romero comes out swinging, just like if Yoel Romero does what Paulo Costa does, what Robert Whittaker does, what Kelvin Gastelum does, then yes, I think that fight's going to be an epic fight for Izzy. Izzy's the type of fighter who is basically solidified through what his opponent does. So if his opponent comes out swinging, he's going to come out swinging. If an opponent starts dancing, he's just going to dance. I think that's just Izzy style fighting. So if Yoel comes out strong, Izzy's going to come out strong. But we'll see. But like I said, guys, that co-main event is going to be the fight to watch for sure. I promise you that. All right. Anything else to talk about? I think that's pretty much it. I know this is a short one today, guys, but nothing really too exciting in the forefront of UFC 168. I mean, the whole Figueiredo missing the weight and Joey Benavidez losing, getting knocked out. I think just one of those things where it's like, blah, you know. So it's unfortunate. It is a stat situation. Again, it is what it is. We'll see what the UFC does in the featherweight division. Maybe they'll run it back. Hopefully they do run it back. I think they should run it back, but we'll see. And if they do run it back, hopefully Figueiredo gets his shit together, because there's no reason for a guy like him to not make weight, not at all. And then hopefully Benavidez recovers and gets himself back in order, and we'll see what happens. But I'm not really holding my breath on that. So I'm not really holding my breath on the featherweight division. I think the featherweight division is pretty much lost for sure. So, but UFC 248, that's something to be excited about, guys. So we'll see what happens. Also, March 7th, if you guys live in the Hudson Valley area, we have a little parade that we do on a yearly basis in the Village of Wappinger. So if you guys are local, please attend. Come out, have a good time, bring the kids. It's always fun every year. The weather should be pretty decent. So if you guys are looking to come out and have a good time, and you guys live in the Hudson Valley, come to the Village of Wappinger Falls St. Patrick's Day Parade. I think that would be a great time for your kids, great time for the family, great time for the parents and friends. Usually every year it's always a good time. So if you guys aren't doing anything, March 7th, Saturday, come out, enjoy the parade with your local community. Other than that, guys, that's all we got. Thank you again. I'll be posting up this video on YouTube, posting up on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate it here at Fisticuffs. There's a couple things, another announcement I want to make too before we go. Soon I'll be adding another analysis to my Fisticuffs podcast, where I'll be talking about a couple wrestling shows. I'm a big pro wrestling guy. I have a buddy of mine who's also going to be joining in on the show as well. So we'll be getting that to you guys as soon as possible. We'll see when we'll start doing it. I know they have a show coming up. I think, actually, well, not coming up, it just happened. AEW, All Elite Wrestling, they have a show on the 29th. I believe of Saturday, February 29th. Revolution, they had a show. That was great. I personally watched it. I enjoyed it. It was an awesome fucking show. They do, obviously, you have WWE, that's on Mondays and Fridays for Raw and SmackDown. And then you got, again, Wednesday nights, and Wednesdays for WWE, you have NXT, and as well for Wednesdays, you have All Elite Wrestling. And I believe, I'm not sure what the another pay-per-view is coming up for WWE. Those are two of the rival promotions, AEW and WWE. I think one of WWE's pay-per-views coming up is Elimination Chamber, and I believe that is on March 8th of 2020. So something else for you guys to look forward to if you guys are wrestling fans. So, but like I said, I'm starting off this. I kind of want to be, instead of being one-dimensional, I want to have all the tools to the tray. I want to be able to talk about everything with you guys. So we'll have that coming up. And that's about it. So check it out. AEW on Wednesdays, WWE, Raw, NXT, and SmackDown on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Elimination Chamber's coming up on March 8th. And then you have the big daddy of them all coming up for WWE WrestleMania. So, again, guys, I just wanted to throw that out there so you guys were prepared. So if you guys hear me, if you hear me just talking about wrestling, you guys know why. All right. Thanks again, guys. I appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Like this video, this podcast, I should say. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for listening. I love you guys. Take care. Be safe and have a great day. Bye, everyone.